Comparing our final opening title sequence to our first attempt to film it, in the form of the preliminary task where we constructed a simple sequence of me going through a door from two different angles and then sit down and take part in a conversation with Emma using the 180-degree rule. Of course, this is completely unrelated to the nature of Gynophobia, but it is our first shot of filming, so it helps to compare how we have learned from mistakes and made our final sequence as professional as possible. In the process of rewatching the prelim task, I have noticed that in the second shot, the camera seems to be a tiny bit slanted towards the right, which may be because the camera was not on the stand in the correct position. It's a little off-putting and unorganized if you ask me. But the good thing is that in future filming sequences, we ensured that we keep the camera on the stand still and fixed. The blurring in one scene of our final OTS could have been improved however, but in contrast could add effect to the atmosphere. Another thing I noticed is that in the third shot of the task, there was a split second of me just standing there, possibly waiting for the signal to go. Then after that I reopened the door, which is what I did in the last shot, therefore just repeating the same action from the last shot just from a different angle. In future we learn to keep scenes fluent between shots and not have a break or repeat in the action, unless it's a special scene, but we have nothing like that in the final product. On that note, there was a split second of me just standing there in the aforementioned shot too. I also noticed that we didn't really feature Emma's shoulder in the shot when I began to sit down and start a conversation with her, and only show a small portion of her hair. In most cases people will believe I'm talking to no one. In our final OTS and subsequent filmings, we ensured over the shoulder shots featured ones literally over the shoulder, and transpired the 10-shot horror sequence we filmed shortly after the prelim. We didn't use over the shoulder shots in our final product, but we did try our best to feature the killer should his back be facing the camera. Finally, I noticed towards the end of the prelim task that after I ask Emma what's up, she tells me it's none of my business and walks off, but directly in the next scene, she is sitting back in the chair and acts very differently to the last shot, but it's still strangely repeated. This might be a hiccup in the editing process, as we were not that experienced with Final Cut at the time. With our future filmings, we have learned more about the editing software we use for Gynophobia and are now practically pros in it now. In conclusion, I feel like we have definitely progressed a lot from the prelim task to the final OTS, as to be honest, you can't really tell the two apart. We have obviously learned from previous mistakes, and Gynophobia is without a doubt the best piece of filming we have made.